I don't know if I'm okay. I don't see the light of day. Looking up to higher ground, thinking that'll be your sweet escape. These days gotta schedule the romance. They say that love is a slow dance. A short bike ride to the crib, using no hands. Oh, did it feel like I'm floating? But I'm falling with both eyes closed when I let the world spin. Testing the water, she got my nerves tense. Back when I ain't even have a purpose, I was so eager to learn some things. Anxiety bring out the worst in me. Society paint me as enemy. My making it by that remedy. I'm more occasional, don't do it regularly. Backs under my eyes, weighing down heavily. Mama been worried, the devil allegedly deep in the plan. Subconsciously wanted it since I was 10. I thought I was sharp on my scroll and my pen think it did. So mama found shit of them legs. She told me that's not who I am. But nowadays I put on for the fam, see her when I can. I'm surrounded by my feelings, I'm stuck on a Ferris wheel. I bet I perish with 140 acres. She want the horse and the carriage, a porcelain portion of garbage. I talk to the mirror, I know that life's not the fairest. I lost my can, I can't pay off the bills with the blessing. Not sure I relate to the Reddit page. It's feeling like money is everything. Money is everything.
What is good, folks? What is good? Welcome to H&M Live, the final session of H&M Live. This is going to be the sunset, and I think this is no better way to do it than with the guest that I have today. I'm your host, James Hicks from Hicks New Media, and buckle in, folks, because we about to get into it. An idealist, my definition, is a person who is guided by ideals than by practical considerations. In other words, he's a person, or they are a person who cherishes or pursues high or noble principles, purposes, goals, etc. Essentially, they're a person who represents things as they might or should be, rather than necessarily how they are. It's a glass half full person instead of a glass half empty person. It's my guest today, Shawn Boyd. You know, in the content creator and tech space, we call him Doc, and that nickname truly fits what his calling is to this stage of his life journey. He's a creator himself and also serves as the community manager for Ecamm Live, which is the platform of choice for many of us content creators on the Mac platform. You know, he's a teacher, he's a speaker, cheerleader, and encourager of accomplishments, while at the same time being the sergeant at arms, making you look in the mirror and realize that limiting words, limiting beliefs, limiting actions have no place in your world. Today, we're going to talk about a creator's mindset and maintaining an idealist perspective. Folks, again, buckle in because we about to be blessed. And if you don't have a pen and paper, go get your Rocketbook right now, because here he is right now, Shawn. I brought you on like Steve Harvey, brother. It's the kings of comedy.
I like it. I like
you.
You
wasn't ready for that one, huh?
Book right now.
Yes,
bro.
sir.
That's actually, you know what's crazy is my Rocketbook is on a little bit sabbatical for a moment. Not. I just wanted to try something out.
What you got,
and
man?
he's such
What
a
you
dope
got?
supporter in our community.
Yeah.
So I got the Mr. Michael Hyatt joint. I just picked this up, the Full Focus Planner. This is golden, man. This is really, really cool. So I'm gonna be attending one of his workshops, and Mr. Michael is a legend. You know what I mean? So I just said, let me cop this just because he's such a great member of our community, always, dropping nuggets in there. So I kind of wanted to support him and check this out. And this is fire, man, so far.
That's cool. That's cool. Look, let's go ahead and say what's going on to the folks that are jumping in, chiming in. We see Mr. James Pollard in the building. We see you, sir. Dr. Worthy is always in the room. We appreciate you as always. Keely Dunn is here, so I know I better sit up straight and act like I got some sense. So shouts out to you.
Keely is a freaking hero.
Look, she the one. She the one keep me in line
we'll
too.
Talk about this in a second. She's a hero.
Alec Johnson, the man who will make a video for a product before it is shipped and released, and knows what's happening. So we good to see you, man. Let's get into it, man, because for my community who may not know who you are, I kind of gave the elevator pitch, but give the folks who may not know who Shawn Boyd is kind of that rundown of who you are.
Yeah, you're an everyday run-of-the-mill Swiss Army nerd. And that was part of the problem. I think you and I sort of come from the same mold. We come up in tech where you just had to know how to do all the myriad things. So one of the things when I decided to branch out into my own I realized that, as we call it in the military, I was taking the spray and pray, tactic to hitting a target, as opposed to going after a target directly with intent and with purpose. And then so I decided to stop doing all the things and kind of focus on, a finite thing. And for me, that finite thing was, this is going to sound crazy, but I take it personal that people are still afraid of tech after tech has been a part of our lives. Those of us, like mid 50s,
Mm-hmm.
it's been a part of our lives since birth.
Yeah.
But they like to be like, oh, well, the cell phone thing is like new, and these kids I was like, man, cell phones came out in 1968. What are you talking about? Like, what we got now, granted, Steve brought that to us in '07,
Yeah.
but from '07 to now, do you know how many years that is, player? How you still scared?
That's true.
Like,
That's
I
true.
can see if it came out in 2020, 2 years later, you're a little timid. But like, come on now. Like cameras and all the stuff that people be hollering about, they scared of. Like, I take it personal. As a nerd, it bothers me because you shouldn't be there at this point. So I am trying to demystify these things for folks so that they can tell their stories. Because the one thing that comes to you after you got about 40 years on you is you got stories that can help somebody else. I don't
Love it.
care what your station in life is. You got something to share that will help somebody else. And we can all do better when we all do better.
Ooh, look, we dropping nuggets already, folks. Again, told you, get them rocket books, get whatever you need to write this down. Let me ask you this though, brother, because right, that's it. I don't know if that's taught or if that's learned or what, but where kind of did that whole forward thinking, speak it into existence kind of mentality come from? Was it from your military service? And we appreciate you and thank you for that service. Was it from other life experiences, or what? Kind of go into detail in terms of why you are the way that you are.
All right. So when I was coming up as a little bitty children's, you know, I got told the same thing everybody else got told, right? About what's out there, what's going to get you, what boogeymans, and children are to be, listen and don't talk, and
Mm-hmm.
children ain't to be heard, adult folks are speaking, like all of this stuff. And at the same token, they push heavily into us education, like getting your books on, like knowing what you're doing. So like I was deep in the books. And then so where it became a problem for me, when I'm the fly on the wall in the living room, and like they say, grown folks is talking and they talking out their mouth sideways completely about something that's absolutely wrong. And like I'm sitting over there like wanting to inject and be like, hold on, unks, let me explain this to you. You got that wrong. Right. So they were spreading misinformation to each other in the community and taking it, as we say on the East Coast, word is bond,
Yeah.
because another OG told them. And I was like, man, you can't send us to school to learn this, but then don't want to hear us when we try to tell you that, nah, this is not the case. So when I initially enlisted, I enlisted a year early, which means I did basic training in the 11th grade, went back to school, finished up,
Okay.
and then went back in after. So when I went to go to my regular school, they call it A school, I was already in E3.
Hmm.
But having spent time away from the block, that first, 52 days of basic training, I came back with a whole new outlook on what it is and what's possible and what can be done. So that put me on a path to like, I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was a straight A student, but that straight A student came from butt whippings. That didn't come from I wanted to do that. It was like beaten to me. When I came back from basic, I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Like I had found out that, being the smart kid wasn't bad. We used to get, called names in the block,
Right. Right.
Professor, Encyclopedia Brown, like all this thing. Like, and then I realized,
And
so
kids are
you guys
terrible
are
too,
like,
right? Kids are
you know what I'm saying?
horrible,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. You taking pride in being the ding dong. Like, I don't get that. Right. So I tried to instill just in my friends on the block, it's okay to be educated. And don't get it twisted. I'm still thug enough to knock you out. Bring your bring your hand pots over here. I see you home to your mama. But it was my initial thing was just teaching my friends on the block before I left, for the military, that it's okay to be smart and still handle your business.
Man,
So that put me on a mission to try to make sure that people had the confidence to be okay with being smart.
knowledge is power, knowledge is key, and continuing learning is also relevant as well. So, let's bring that to today. Let's talk about professional careers, those of us that are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, content creators, whatever you want to classify us as. Why do you think it's such a struggle? Look, every week I'm in class with you when I do make it, and when I'm not sitting underneath the squat rack or something. But every time you have a discussion, there seems to be a lot of emphasis on why folks are in their own way, right? Why do you think that being an idealist, being someone who, again, is the glass half full versus glass empty, or not wanting to progress when they know that they can do what they can do, as opposed to listening to those limiting thoughts, listening to those limiting beliefs, and worrying about stuff that's out of their control? Why do you think that's the predominant mindset, instead of folks looking at themselves in the mirror and say, yeah, I can do this. I know I can do this. I know the material, right? All I'm going to do now is turn on some lights and press record, but I know what I'm talking about. Why do you think that's so difficult for people to grasp that?
Purpose.
Uh-oh. Keep going.
That's it. Purpose is analgesic. When you have your purpose, there is no pain, right? Do you know why, like, Mike Tyson could go and spar every day before he became Mike Tyson, and took all of them clunks in the head to do what he had to do? Or how, many thousands and thousands and thousands of laps Michael Phelps had to put on in between his joints in order to become 22 Olympic gold medals. Yeah. He knew what his purpose was. When you know your purpose is analgesic. You know what I mean? Josh Jacobs he want to get these yards, so he go out there and take a butt whipping every Sunday. Can't walk till Wednesday, but he taking it because he wants to be the best running back in Raiders history.
Yeah.
Right. So when you know your purpose, the things that you guys are calling pain, which don't physically hurt, which pisses me off, right? If it physically hurt, like, I kind of understand. I'm old, my joints hurt. But y'all talking about stuff that don't even hurt. Like AI. Y'all talking about practice.
Dang,
you know what I mean?
He gonna talk about AI.
I have a fear of being on this camera. It can't touch you. Like, there's no arms, there's no hands, no bullets, no Nathan. Like, it can't do nothing to you. It is a piece of metal and glass. What is it finna do to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, maybe it's different when you come from the block and you had little kids that would rob you blind, but there's nothing that this stuff can do to you. So when you understand your purpose, you're not afraid to fail, because you'll dust off and try again. Okay. When you understand your purpose, you're not afraid to look foolish. Steve, my old boss, was not afraid to look foolish. As a matter of fact, he told us every meeting, stay foolish.
Yeah.
Foolish peoples be the one who come up with ideas. Foolish people say, let's get in the boat and keep going that way, because this joint ain't exactly flat. Y'all think it's flat, but it can't be flat. My calculations don't match. Let's get in this boat. So, Chris and a couple of his crew, they jumped in the boat. They went that way. They're like, nah, player, it's not flat. You know what I'm saying? Look, we back. And then he became one of the richest cats, because, everybody else was sitting over there scared, listening to each other talk a bunch of wolf mess to themselves. And then, Chris got on a boat, and then he went that way.
Next thing,
what's crazy is Holiday and car sales. And,
there you go now.
30% off.
There you go. See, you're going on a tangent there. No, but that's all.
Sorry.
No, you bring up something interesting, because for folks who don't know, me and Doc both worked at Apple. I've got Steve's Crazy Ones speech literally in front of me, and I look at it every day. I walk into the studio. I've got my Apple management program.
Hungry,
hold on. I keep it close, right? My Apple. Oh, hold on. Golly, all these cameras. There you go. My Apple management program graduation plaque there. I had a infamous one-on-one with Steve at Infinite Loop one time. I was coming out of the building. He was walking in. I didn't see him. He's much shorter. He was much shorter than I am. I damn near knocked the man down. Had to help pick him up. We had that little look and that little exchange, and the myth was, or the rumor was, if you were in an elevator with Jobs and he asked you the question, what is it that you do for the company? And if he didn't like what you said, in theory, by the time you got off the elevator, you would no longer have a job. So I was sweating. But I never had that conversation with him. I still maintain my role. But yeah, I had my one-on-one with Mr. Jobs that day, which I will never forget. But I think working for that company, working for the coolest company on the planet at the time, and I still call it the cool, even though where I am now, and and where you're employed, ECAM, shouts out to them too. But working for them and working in that culture, being around folks who are forward thinking, who are literally trying, well, not literally, but quite figuratively trying to put a dent in the universe. Again, that's a job statement right there. That forces you, being around folks that are like-minded, folks that are forward-thinking, folks that are positive in nature. When you surround yourself with those types of people, when you surround yourself with community, y'all see where I'm coming with this, right? So this man right here started out in the monologue. You like what we're doing here, man? You like what the community manager, making sure folks are staying focused and locked in on purpose, staying focused and staying locked in on what they want to do and knowing that they can do it. Having that class every week, encouraging people to get out of a comfort zone. How kind of has this viewpoint maybe affected you? Maybe even on a personal level, right? I mean, are you
100%?
Okay.
100%. The concept. Okay.
Go ahead and get
We
into
grow
it.
up with we grow up with this mentality of there's a certain thoroughness to being able to do everything on your own,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what you don't want to be is in the water trying to battle a shark by yourself. You want a couple folks. Y'all can keep it distracted. Nobody gets ate. You out there by yourself, you become shark sandwich. Game over.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the blessings of the military was learning what the power of, en masse equals, like what, force majeure is, right? Have everybody out there helping you.
Mm-hmm.
And getting over selfish is a dangerous word, bruh.
Ooh.
Because people that do it don't even realize they're doing it. There's folks out here right now got that leather King James gold wrapped all the way around the edge. Think they not selfish, do selfish stuff on a regular basis.
Haven't opened it up yet. Just looking at it. Have it on the kitchen table.
Hey, honestly, there's cats out here that open it every week and do sermons every week, and they still selfish because they haven't really took time to understand what selfish is. Being selfless is probably one of the hardest things you will ever do. But once you learn it, you'll live it. You just cannot help it. It's what it is. And I think one of my blessings was going to Japan.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can give you a simple example of their selflessness that's ours completely different. In Japan, well, I'll start with here. Over here, if we was to go to the food court right now, right? You got your little plate. You went, maybe got you a half chicken leg and some rice, whatever. You sit down at your table. I'm gonna say, you know what, James? I'm gonna eat something different. I'm gonna pick up, like a Subway or whatever. When I come to sit down at the table, because of our male pride or whatever dumb stuff, in a table like we had in school cafeteria that 6 at one end, 6 on the next end, you'll sit on the bottom outside one, and I'll sit on the bottom inside one by the crack, right? That leaves four stools completely unoccupied, even when we're just going to eat lunch together, just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, they never not backfill in the hole because we've been taught here, you in my personal space.
Yeah.
It's not personal space when there's 388 million of us. Sorry, man, your 24 inches is now 12. Y'all the ones that want to have all them kids. So it's funny, but like now everybody still be like, oh, so and so is in my person. I get social distancing now, but pre the situation, you never go into a movie theater in Japan and then have James sit on the end and me sit 4 seats away from him. We leave that whole inside open so we got room for our popcorn and our bag and whatever. You just don't do stuff like that. And we have all been late, especially if you're Black. You've been to the movie last and you're looking for seats and you can't get 2 seats together. And fools will look at you. All you got to do is get up and move. And they will just look at you like, damn, should have been here earlier.
Yeah. Couldn't have done that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, the kind of petite selfishness that we do on a daily basis, snatching parking spaces, cutting folks off in traffic, like all of the petite selfishness, it lives in our entire existence here in the US. When I went to Japan and I saw that folks didn't do that, I was like, oh,
yeah.
I consider myself a very giving, unselfish person. When I got it put in my face, nah, player, you selfish too. I was like, I had to put a stop to it. I made necessary adjustments, you know.
Now, where were you? Because I was in Okinawa, which is island right off the coast, 70-mile long island, right off the mainland, and I was there for 3 years. We were at Kadena Air Force Base. Were you on the mainland?
My in-laws' house is about 3 miles from Kadena. They're in Chitan in Agena, by Agena Castle.
You're over there by the Naha roller skating ring, because that's where. You don't know about it.
Gusuyo to want to be the Chibario Sasayo. I speak Japanese and Okinawa. Most people don't know there's a difference.
There is true. There is a difference, man.
That's like Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. Yes, we both speak Spanish, but I think it's a little bit different, folks. So I was in college. I was in Tokyo proper, just outside in the country a little bit, like the suburbs of Tokyo. So yeah, it's a thing. And again, even when you go to some place, beautiful like Okinawa, man, like you see it, the generosity, the way people treat you, the fact that if you were to drop something, somebody will pick it up and hand it right back to you. Over here, people are going to drop it and inspect it to see if it's valuable before they hand it to you or whatever. Or like, picking up somebody else's trash, not a thing. You just do it. Like over here, that wasn't mine. Step right over it and then go home and complain about how dirty the city is.
So that's a. I'm gonna interrupt just because I want to get in this and Keely, you had an interesting statement that I'm gonna bring it back up. That's a cultural thing, right? And it just makes sense that you got to get stamps in the passport, right, folks? You gotta move and be mobile across this planet and across this globe, so and respect what you got, right? You know what you got good. You don't know what you have good until you go out there and see something else. So why is it that at home we are the way you're stating, right? We're selfish instead of selfless when we go to these other countries who either, I'm not gonna say third world, but or just have different cultures, different upbringing. But there seems to be more of a nuclear family unit, right? There seems to be more focus on collaboration, more focus on family and cooperative types of upbringing and things of that nature. Why is that not here? And why is that something that, again, you have to, I'm gonna put you on the pedestal here, put you on the spot, that you have to struggle with every single time that you go live, again, telling folks that, look, again, get out of your way, right? Make sure that you've got it in you to progress and be great. Right. Move with intent and purpose. You got it on a shirt. I'm going to pull up the site in a minute. But again, why is that such a constant struggle, you think, talking to folks around the block here?
Because we love to be the one to tell somebody else what they messing up. Right. But won't do that same fitness check on ourselves.
Ooh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just, again, part of our culture. Right. Like, just look at the news right now. Like all of the people on the elephant side is telling all the people on the donkey side about all the stuff they're doing wrong, but they just did it. Like recently, the one that's cracking me up is, I thought it was funny. Yo, Joe had enough of this dude asking him silly questions. I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, you're stupid. He said that. And they're like, oh, look at him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if you go back and look at your man's from a couple months back, that was daily basis for him. And he'd be like that to females, not even to another dude.
Yeah.
And y'all were cool with it then. And like, oh no, they're just making too much of it. You know how he is. That's just, cutting in them. That's how they is, right? Oh, then Joe said something stupid. And again, it's not even about religion. It's about how we love I mean, not religion, about politics. It's
Yeah.
about how we love to talk XYZ about somebody else. You know, it's like me sitting over here talking about James. You'll be up in your streams with your hat all crooked and whatnot. Ain't nobody listening to you while your hat crooked, son. And then, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just funny. It's mad funny. That's just the kind of stuff that we do. And again, it's a cultural thing. And I mentioned this the other day, and it might cause some fights, and I don't really care. I'm here for it because I'm down to have a philosophical conversation with anybody any day. I think that the reason why we are so binary and we hold silos is because in the US, we considered everybody, and I don't mean we like me and you, I mean just the general populace from our upbringing with the Puritans, we considered everybody who wasn't going to be God-fearing Christian person to be the opposite. So for those people, they think the opposite of Christianity is godlessness or Satan. So that worked its way into everything in our culture. Mac pieces versus PC, right? That conversation gets down to which one is bad and which one is good. No, it's which one is the right tool for what you need to do. It's not a conversation of bad or good. So we turned everything Ford and Chevy, you know, Trans Am and Camaro, Sony, PlayStation, Raiders, Patriots. Nah, Patriots is bad.
See, there you
you're gonna make people mad here. All of these conversations into extremely binary talk, and I swear it came from us taking that. I mean, if you think about it, back in the day, before they decided to be a little bit more inclusive, they would even cut out some other white folks because they weren't the exact, you know, Lutheran that they were. As a matter of fact, they was again Lutheran back in the day, right? You had to be Puritan, right? Anything else was considered wrong. Then Martin Luther came in and made some changes and got people adjusted, and we started building these. We bifurcated even Christianity. Like, so that is our culture. It's not like that in other countries. I mean, they just don't do it. Like, nobody in Japan goes, you're Buddhist, you're Shinto, we can't talk. They don't even think like that.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that a culture, as you were saying, that is so much shorter than any of these other places is so splintered, right?
We started with wealth. That's why.
Yeah.
We started with wealth. And so starting with wealth allowed us to start with greed. And we've never had a situation where people really had to band together to make it work. There's 1929 through like 32, but that's short when you consider, right? You know, I got people over here that think we're 248 some odd years old and we think we gangster.
Yeah.
Like when I'm a Japanese history major, I study stuff 15,000 years old. And I got friends here to be like, there can't be 15,000 years of history. Why? Well, because Christ is only 2036. I'm like, bro, I know you know about the Bible, the Old Testament. There's a whole section before him, right? And they're like, what? You know, so again, we get caught in some very tunnelly vision thinking, but you get that because people, like you said, people don't passport.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to Angkor Wat and you stand in something that is literally 5,000 years old and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. I want to go stay with that, and I want to be cognizant of the community because what we've got a lot of folks here that know you from one world, right? Know you from the technology space and know you from kind of the YouTube world, things like that. But we haven't done any channel reviews. We haven't talked about any camera. We haven't talked about any lights yet. We going much deeper, and I want to be cognizant even of this statement here that came up from Keely here. You know, it's more than just stamps in a passport. Resorts and beautiful locales teach you nothing. Correct.
That's factual.
That's the one right there that I start. You know, that's it right there, right? You've got to appreciate and experience and educate yourself on first what you have here. Again, kind of as I said, be appreciative and knowledgeable of what you have at home. Then go see and experience it somewhere else and hear about it from the locals. Don't just go to, I don't need it, but don't go to the McDonald's in China and think that you're going to get real, authentic cuisine and experiences. Go out there and live amongst and be amongst and integrate and collaborate with the locals so you can actually be a part of that culture. Alec Johnson lived in Thailand. Right, left the U.S., left the country, left the States, and living there, brought up his family there, and probably won't come back.
Oh, he ain't going back. We didn't lost Alex.
Yeah,
Hey, if it was up to me, I probably would have never came back from Japan.
Is that right?
Honestly,
I agree. I want to go back, but as you recall, probably a few years ago, there were some issues with some enlisted folks that caused some problems out there in the street. So it's not a good time to take my family there right now, because Americans are looked at with definite side eye. But yeah, I agree, man. It's one of the handful of places as a favorite of mine on this planet, and to experience that, to be there, and to it's like that a lot of places though, traveling and again, like I'll just be responsible or respectful of what Keely was saying, right? Just again, not just staying at the where is it, the Planet Hollywood or the or the I don't know, the Hilton Resort.
4 Seasons in them joints, like, yeah, because you can get a faucet, dude. Even coming here, right? Like, this is our own country, right? People forget that sometimes. But when I got off the plane as a young cat, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of cars out here.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot of buildings. I don't know. I thought I was fitting to see some Gilligan's Island joint.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. And so yeah, like people come here, but I've also seen tourists stand right here and be like, well, we don't do stuff like that back in America. And we look at them like, what? How many stars in the flag? And they go, 50. That's a stupid question. Which number star are we? Huh? Yeah, we're a state, idiot. It's not a different country. You know what I mean? Like, this is America. Clown. But I mean, literally, people just do stuff like that because, again, yeah, for us to be as baby as we are, Paul said it, we're infants compared to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that lack of culture also gives us somewhat of a lack of perspectives. It gave us a dominance when just making new stuff was key. It allowed us to be top of the food chain for a while. Now making new stuff is not key because everybody can make new stuff.
Gotcha.
Right? And then so now we lost which was our unique selling point, if you will.
Having this conversation repeatedly, I'm gonna ask you a personal question. Does it get? It's a question. It's a conversation needs to happen, and I tend to always, a lot of times, have these awkward conversations with my community. Does it get tiring? Does it? How do you raise yourself up to, again, continue to educate and communicate and have essentially the same conversation a lot of times? I mean, where does just too much become too much? When do you get tired? What's the fuel that keeps you, today's Thursday, you're going to have the same conversation about whatever, about limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, limiting factors Friday. It's going to hit you again Monday. I mean, how do you?
Oh, Saturday, it'll be 3 hours.
See, now he putting it out there in the streets, folks. Y'all better come correct.
It sounds funny, and I'm not going to dead record it, but purpose is analgesic. You know what I mean? You don't need these giant ball of Motrin when you got purpose. I need it because I got metal legs. But yeah, purpose is analgesic. Like, I don't mind doing it because I have watched kin folks grow. And again, I picked on Keely earlier, and I said that Keely's a hero because she is, right? I remember where she was when she came into the crew, and then I see where she is now. And then we had this crazy idea at the beginning of the month. I was going to move the Facebook community over to Discord. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Keely was like, hold my maple syrup beer. And then so I held it, and then she blessed that server. That server looks like the 4 Seasons now. You come into my Discord, it is glorious. And that's all Keely, right? So again, when you know what you want to do and you go into it with the mindset that it's fitting to get done, sometimes you gotta, lean on, not to get him a Bill Withers trip, but I was like stuck.
Young folks don't know.
I got
that
you.
just went over to some of the young folks' head right there. So.
Oh, lean on me. Sorry. Anyway, so I was like, okay, Keely, all you. I gave her the keys. I'm like, I'm gonna leave. I come back. It was like trading spaces. I came back, and it was dope. I'm messing with you, Dana. Data's another one
Yeah,
over
no, it's
there
good, good
in the
folks. I'm gonna be talking to him in
YYC.
a couple of weeks. So, I mean, and that's telling as well, right? The fact that you are willing to let go, to trust in the community, trust in folks to help build your environment, help build the community, and make it better and make it stronger as well. So that, I mean, that's telling as well. I guess that's kind of where I want to go into as well, kind of actionable steps and tasks maybe that people can do really to raise above the noise, get out of their own way, and again start thinking about more glass half full as opposed to glass empty, right? Being purposeful, being intentful,
Oh,
being
I wanted to
idealistic.
fix your face on that. Hold up.
What you
See,
gonna do?
because I'm not a glass half full person or a
Okay,
glass half empty person.
make it plain,
Because
brother.
I am a realist.
Okay.
The glass is full. Period. And if
Talk
you
is
got to get
keep
into your
talking.
physics, if you need a physics degree to figure that one out, cool. I got you. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
This is half full with water, but the other half is full of air. It's impossible for this to be empty because in a vacuum with these side walls, it would collapse. This bottle can't be empty. So it's always full, right? So your opportunities, your mindset is always full. It's just a matter of whether it's full with the negative, the emptiness, the void, the air, or if it's full with the water, the substance, the lifeblood, the breathe, the energy, right? The kava, as we say here. This is the life force, right?
Yeah.
So with you do your go ahead, do your has glass full, has glass
Well,
empty.
so
That's a lack of
let me ask you
perspective.
this:
The glass is
which one do
always
you
full.
focus on? Which one do you focus on, though? Right? Are you focusing on the water piece, or are you focusing on the air piece? I guess
Oh, I
let me.
spend so little time focusing on the negativity. That's
There we
just
go.
not what I
I'm
do.
actually I'm
I
picking at
spend
scabs. I'm leading you into some of these questions. I hope you know that,
no, I
brother.
just spend so little
Yeah.
time focusing on negativity. Like I used to get twisted over stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, I got my brand new, just came home from Japan, hadn't drove for like a year, got my brand new M3, rolled to the mall, parked that joint. I'm working at Apple, right? I come out, I get ready to get in the whip. The kid next door is the mom's Volvo, getting ready to get out, and he got the car door. Bam, bam,
Oh.
bam, bam, trying to get his mom to come and get him out the seatbelt because he kind of tangled, and he is banging the door of the Volvo against the M3.
That's
At
not a
that
good day for
moment in
him.
time in my life,
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to peel a little bitty children, and I was going off. And then she gave me, what would be classified as a Karen statement today. She goes, "It's just a car," and I was like, "Lady, I don't know about what you say. That's not just a
Ooh.
car. That is an ultimate driving machine. Like it
Yeah.
says so right on the commercial. It is not just a car. To me, that was my life. That
Yeah.
was my everything or whatever. And I was super irritated and super pissed. But then I remembered, cousin owns a body shop and he fixes all of the stuff at B&W. And then even when I just took it in, they just fixed it. It's flawless, like no biggie. And it was just like, all right, cool, just let it go. Water off of a frog's back. And it's like, I could have been my life. I think things like the pandemic or things like, do a couple tours, whatever, lets you understand that there's just way more important things. You know what I'm saying? As you turn 50, you start losing friends just because of age. You understand. So like, again,
Yeah.
why people out here tripping, I can't get my GoPro to connect to eCam. And this is the worst experience of my life. And I was like, well, you need some more life, player, because, hey, that ain't the worst experience. That's not even close.
You got some things on your mind, huh? You got some things on your mind. I want to.
I just laugh at the stuff that people heat up over. Like,
I love it. I
like
love it.
life is short, player. Life is way short.
Too short. And I want to wrap that segment up with
You
I
gonna
think
say
some
life
more.
is too short? You know what? My musical Tourette's would kick in.
I'm not gonna put that on. I don't have him queued up. I got some other music queued up. But there was a comment that came in that kind of puts up in a nice bow what we were just talking about. Sometimes you need a drink. Sometimes you need a breath of air. Dana coming through with some realists right there. That's really what's going on right there. And we see folks are resonating with that statement right there. Let me pivot just a little bit.
And it's correct.
Let me pivot a little bit and ask you about mindset. Let me pivot a little bit and ask you about, again, how you approach your daily activities and your daily lives. Well, we've talked about ikigai before, right? This infographic, this graphic, folks, really is this resonates, and I think it resonates with me as well as much as it does with you, just because, again, we've both lived there, right? We've lived in the land in Japan where this is core and fundamental. It actually comes from
Okinawa. Japanese stole it, as they tend to do to Okinawa, but it is actually from Okinawa.
Yeah, and again, so there you go. Look, I lived on Camp Butler, right outside of Leicester. Dad worked at Kadena, so we've been there. So I know that. I got my driver's license on the other side of the car, driving a manual, other side of the road. So there we go. There we go. Talk to the folks. Explain this concept for folks who may be sitting in the back of the room.
Yeah. So you take something that you're good at, right? And maybe it's conversation, maybe it's communication or whatever. And then you hear people say this all the time. I love people. I love talking to people. I love hearing their story, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right, cool. You got two things covered, right? And then it's like we're having a time where people are needing to find themselves. People need to reinvent themselves. People need to get that heat off their chest. All right, so now we got three covered, right? You're good at communicating. You love talking to people and hearing their stories, and the world is feeling a little bit verklempt, and people need a release. There's three. Boom. Start your podcast, bringing in interviews of general folks out there, whatever, and you start to grow. Now, in the process of doing that, you find you really, really love that. So you just took what you were good at and what you love, and there you found the passion. You found the passion is in interviewing these people. All right, so now I need to do this on purpose. Now I need to do this to help veterans heal. Now I need to do this to help outdoors people who've been in a corporate space reconnect with outdoors. Now I need to do this to help people of over a certain age realize that their unique selling feature is their age. It is not tech is hard. I'm coming at this late. This is a young person's game. No, you got experience. Yeah. Young people out here teaching other people about business, been in business for 4 years. What the? They teaching you. You've been in business for 40 years, or you worked for 30 and realized how much it sucked, and then you've been in business for the last 5, and you done pulled in numbers which regular folks would just trip over. Yeah. Okay, now you done found your mention, right? So when you take all three of those, your profession, your passion, your mention, your love, your needs, and you work that into the product, that product is your vocation. That's where the term vocation, in vocation. Right? That's where the vocation comes from. I don't know how everybody thought it meant go to school to learn to be a carpenter. When the school system adopted the word, they screwed it up. But, all of my pious people know what the actual vocation is.
Keep preaching, right? Brother. Keep preaching.
So it's funny because I'm the atheist. I always got to school pious folks.
And I laugh, but I have to look to the side every time. When I say that,
I always have to school the pious folks because they caught up in blinders, right? They don't be trying to see both sides of the fence. Yeah. So once you got all those things, it turns out you can get paid to do all of that, right? And then once you figured that out, you figured out the Holy Grail. And so all of us people that do it, we tell all the other people that sucking on the 9 to 5, be like, yo, man, I get paid to do exactly what I love.
Yeah.
Right? I get paid to do what I love when I'm not doing what I love because I'm getting paid in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? Somebody just ordered some nan lights today. I got paid.
Next thing you know, residuals,
Shout right? Out to and then affiliate. It becomes whatever. Now, here's the thing. When you could do all of the above, it is extremely fulfilling, right? Our country has been taught to push success. And success, to me, can eat an eggplant emoji, right? It is not what it is. I am here to teach you about fulfillment. Because again, purpose is analgesic. When you're doing stuff on purpose, fully intended, don't nothing hurt. It don't hurt to come on camera. It don't hurt to cry. It don't hurt to mess up and make a fool out yourself in front of your whole crew. Now, again, water off a frog's back, right? But when you're fulfillment, wait, maybe I gotta help folks because they might. I hear that word all the time. What the hell does that mean? Because you know me, I hate when people use words don't know what the hell they talking about. All right, so fulfillment is when you are living exactly what you're made for. I woke up like this. I woke up to slap the taste out your mouth and make you realize you are a dope human being. You have something to give. You can heal other people by sharing and stop having that scarcity mentality, right? I woke up like this. So I am fulfilled. Every time I see Keely win or Steve Worthy starting his podcast or live or you, when I see the people that I've had some hand in it and I see them growing, that's my fulfillment, okay? Success without fulfillment is the ultimate bombaclot failure.
Can't hang with the big dog, stay on the porch, blow the whistle.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Look, I got buttons over here too, man. I can get some of these tricks. So pause. I mean, I want folks to digest that because that was a whole lot of gems showering down and hitting you on the top of the dome. Just kind of as I started. And first and foremost, I appreciate you for going into that and to go into so much detail about this concept that really I think more folks should live by or should adopt at least principles of this. But yeah, at the beginning of the monologue, I called you the sergeant of arms that helps keep folks off of that path of limiting thoughts, limiting the beliefs, limiting actions and things of that nature. And we brought it back to a handful of the folks that are in the audience right now who are content creators, but everyone has their calling, their purpose, their direction in life. It could be professional, it could be personal.
Yes.
The things that we've talked about today, folks, really resonate irregardless of what you're doing. So don't just put this in the bucket and say, oh, he's just talking about people that are on YouTube and people that are doing podcasts. No,
you know what people do that,
open
man?
your mind, right?
Open your mind. Out of fear.
Yeah,
people do that out of fear. Like I could have gave you this entire situation as an athlete. Yeah. I could give you this entire situation as an artist, as a musician, as a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, like whatever. Like anybody can do this. You know what I'm saying? And when you see these people who are artisans that are growing that like freaking gigantic daikon and it's perfectly straight, no crooked in the flavor and it's just mad juicy. You understand why they do that? Their family farm becomes famous for growing the best grapes or the best. You go to San Marzano and you see them grow tomatoes. This is them. This is their life in tomatoes. And they're like, yo, we get a kick out of it when we see a can in a TV show from a different country. And they're talking about these tomatoes are the best in the world. Don't even bother trying to use the low budget joints. If you're going to make this recipe, use San Marzano.
Yeah.
They like dust off the shoulder.
Why mess around? Why mess around?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it back because it does fit. And I think people get it twisted. They think it has to do with just like content, but this is business in general. Fam.
Yeah. Right. You blessed us. I'm gonna ask this. Well, I'm gonna bring this one comment up that was asked by the community just now as well. Mr. Worthy is saying, "Hey man, where Creator 50 at? I'm subscribed to it. I'm looking for some more episodes too."
It's funny. I had this conversation with India last night. Definitely ready to bring it back. I was on full-fledged running.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you my block. And like I said, again, pain is pain, but purpose is analgesic, right? The last soul I was editing, I recorded it live. I was sitting there with Rich and Johnny 3E. We was recording it in the Ecamm group. And in the Let's Get Live Facebook group. And I finished that recording. And then I started chopping it up to edit. And then I got the phone call from my brother to run upstairs to my pops. And I just have every time I open the script right now, I have the flashback of, going to see my pop sitting in the chair, you know, like motionless, lifeless, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, on the real, like every time I open the script right now, it F's with me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But he would be pissed at me for putting that much time and space between it. He'd have been like, man, get your butt back in there. So like I'm coming to that grips.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't let that be the reminder for me, because I have way too many doper reminders, you know, of what half of the stuff I'm teaching you guys about lighting and sound and all of that. June and I learned that from Pops. You know what I'm saying? So Rich actually pulled my chain, and Rich was like, you should let that shine. Because I was going to just bury that episode. And Rich was like, nah, man, you should let that shine because your Pops would have wanted you to.
Yeah.
So again, I lean on my people, you know? So, hey,
That's
thanks
what
to
we're here
Rich, you know, he told me this like last week or whatever. And I talked to Indy a little bit yesterday, and then Indy is like, no, player, make it happen. And so, you know, is what it is.
Gotcha.
So I'll put that one back out and then dedicate it to Pops.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate you for sharing that with us. You know, some folks knew, but you know, just being vulnerable and sharing that with us here on this session. Look, brother Mike.
You know, real quick, I don't want to waste your time or anything, but real quick,
Come
I
on
think
now.
that's another reason why I have a different perspective, because I did have a Korean dad that adopted me when I was a knucklehead teenager and straightened me out. So I got a chance to have 3 disparate cultures. So I already knew the differences in cultures. It made me more forgiving or more understanding of what other people had or what they did. You know what I mean? So like, it's really weird because I'm only adopted, but like I take the Asian jokes personal sometimes because I grew up with that, you know? So I'm like, you know, and I find it funny, you know, like last year at some point in, especially like in New York and stuff, people was doing the whole like the Asian hate thing. And I'm like, you're a hip hop person. How you gonna be like that? Because we don't exist without rolling. We just don't. Without rolling in Panasonic, we do not exist. There is no hip hop. So how you gonna be like that, love, huh?
Wow. God, there you go again, making it plain. Listen, folks. Again, you got another son. I was raised. I believe my mom is still online. I saw my dad come online, but you know, I
saw your mom's earlier.
Yeah. My mother and my grandmother always told me to give people their flowers while you can, right? And I've told you this behind the scenes. You are incredibly valuable, right? Your insight, your truthfulness, your vulnerability, your willingness to put in the work when you don't have to put in the work. Your willingness to grow and build community and really see others shine, which is how you shine. That doesn't go unnoticed, man. All right, so I wanted you to know that you really are beyond good people, right? You really are kind of a shining beacon. You are all the positive adjectives, and you know, we all got our flaws, but man, you definitely one of the cool kids on the block, right? So I just wanted to let you know that publicly, that we appreciate you for everything that you do. Not just in the eCam community. Yeah, that's your job. That's your day job. But you know what? Outside of what you do around that, the fact that you reach out to folks after hours, just the fact that you hit people up on WhatsApp or Skype, you know, whatever the case may be, and make sure that folks are good, right? Personally, professionally, emotionally, all of those. So I want to throw that out there to you, man. Give you these flowers, man. And
thank you, man. I appreciate. You know, sometimes it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I appreciate it. And you just gave me a dope idea for another thing for my pad. I gotta add the I shine, you shine. I'm gonna go ahead and chop that up today. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna add it to my pad.
I'm through with you, man. I'm through with you, man. Hey, folks who don't know, tell the folks where they can find you, man. I'm gonna put it on the screen, but
you can find me all over the interwebs at DOCROCK, pretty much, the YouTube channel, the whole 9 yards. I am working feverishly on getting the blog space back together, And I just moved over the community to Discord, so that's a thing. And I am also starting up the expanding the membership, and that's on creatorcoach.live.
Man, you out there in them streets, brother.
Man, I gotta do the work. Somebody gotta do it.
Somebody got to do it. We out here trying to do it. Let's stay focused. Let's do it. We got to do. Man, get you something. I tell you, hold on.
I saw it yesterday. I have it pinned. I definitely seen it yesterday. And then I was like, oh, Sylvia fitting to send out this box for this thing that we're doing for Ecam. So I'm gonna just go ahead and tell her to just throw that one in there too. So I'll put in my order today because I like
I tell you what, she online right here, Sylvia.
I see her.
We're gonna do another box. This guy, hold on, that guy right there. We're gonna do another one of them special boxes for this man right here. How about that?
Sylvia, man, they are such a blessing.
Yeah.
I honestly, in the very beginning, when I wasn't sure what I was doing or whatever, but I just knew I wanted to do it. Seriously, one of the first people that put the gas on the fire was the Nixons, and they kind of held trigger like, yo, they showed love in the community. You know, when people say I have rediscovered faith in humanity, I never really lost it, but they're a good reminder of what faith in the community be like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when she calls me with her little giggly self and it's like, Doc, I gotta show you something really cool. Yo, I love those phone calls. I live for those phone calls. And then even Karen is like, every time you talk to them, you just be giggling when you're done. I'm like, because they be doing magic in the background. Like
every time I talk to them, I end up with action items. So, and I don't know, my conversations, you know, I be getting told to early in the morning because, you know, they 3 hours ahead of me. So I'm like, Sylvia called me.
Oh yeah. Every time I talk to Syl, it's like some god awful time. And I'm like, why is she not asleep yet?
Man.
But then I realized we on opposite sides of the calendar.
I got Google Docs and Apple Notes. I got action items that I still need to follow up on. So let me get to my homework, man. I'm gonna be cognizant.
Stay focused, man.
Right. You gonna get a box, man. I appreciate it. I know you got things on the calendar today. I'm using the new beta. So the beta that just released like 20 minutes before we launched. So I'm glad that fixed a couple of things I was working on. So shouts out to that and the team.
I like it.
But be good. Be good. You brought it today, and we needed to hear this again. It's that awkward conversation. It's that uncomfortable conversation, but it's that relevant. And it's that timely conversation.
Man, you got honestly, Jimmy, you got to do it more because for instance, I've told the people in my class, like, I want to get them off of just sweating the tech. Like, we're willing to fix some things that you need, get you polished, but you got to get off the tech. You actually got to start doing it, right? We all got that friend that got that one Mustang in the garage. They done painted 3 times. They got the, you know, the old Kragar's on there because they're going old school. The leather is all tight. They ain't never seen outside the garage.
Yeah.
And it's like, your horses need to run, son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no good if you don't let it run. So I am glad that you did this. It gave me a chance to talk about things that, like you said, aren't tech related, because the tech is nothing without this.
True.
And you just got to believe. And I'm telling you, folks, I'm helping you every day. If you can find your purpose, everything else falls into place. You're no longer afraid of nothing because you know what your purpose is. I got to do this for them, right? Miss D says it on her monitor. She has a note. What are you doing it for them or something like that? She has a reminder. And I was telling India that last night. You know, you got to put your reminder that you're doing it for them. And I literally say these things out loud in the mirror every day. It's not a joke. It's not like something like you say at a Tony Robbins seminar or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I say it in the mirror every single day. I am a creator. I say in the mirror, I'm going to go solve somebody's problem today. I say in the mirror that I am here for my community. And if you ask me what success looked like, hey, feet hit the floor another day.
That's almost exactly how me and my co-host Montel Allen start Team No Sleep, right? You know, blessing to be, you know, 6 feet above ground, right? And if you got another opportunity, go out there and get it done. No excuse. There's 24 hours.
You're missing your shot.
My family doesn't like it when I make this statement. Right? There's 24 hours a day. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Right. And
I say that too.
And no one likes it when I say that. But again, you've got to have kind of that mentality. You've got to be wired a certain way. And you don't have to be you don't have to run off of steam, and you don't have to necessarily burn the candle at both ends, but know what you're doing, be intentional about it, have purpose about it, be focused on what you're doing. I mean, all of these words that you're saying.
You just did.
Boy,
I see what you just did. Oh my
boy,
God.
let me you think I've been doing this.
Hey,
I do these things. Bruh, I want to leave them hanging. I want to leave them with some more. Be good to yourself, folks. Y'all be good to yourselves. If you like this, man, please share it, because Mr. Boyd doesn't come out too many times and talk about other things. And this was definitely a blessing. This was definitely a treat. So
appreciate you, bro.
Dark Boy, be good to yourself, family. Y'all take care, and we talk later. Out.
Aloha.